Minecraft is an interesting game, and people often ask the question, how fast can you really go at Minecraft? Well, that's what we're going to solve today, and maybe in a few episodes in the future, because I'm Oogly Boogly, and today we're going to be looking at how fast can you go in Minecraft. So, in this episode, the first one of How Fast Can You Travel in Minecraft, we will look at the basic elements that you can have in speed, and we'll look at ways and how possibly you combine them, which we will look at in future episodes on the compounds of speed. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's go! So, of course, the first basic element of speed I had to try was sprint jumping, and a fairly unsurprising, quite slow speed of 6.8 blocks per second over that 100 block range. Because, as you can see here, we have, so all of these races were done over a 100 block race, which is this long in a super flat world to make sure it's all fair. So, the next experiment I did was swimming, and I didn't have very high expectations for this one, and it had reason to it, because it took 25.5 seconds to cover the entire 100 block range. Some of that may be taken off by the fact that I did wiggle about a bit, but that's only 4 blocks per second, so I don't think we'll be choosing that anytime soon. The next one was just standard creative flying, which isn't really an option in survival, but just for like finding out, and that was 10 blocks per second. And then we had the creative sprint flying, which was 17 blocks per second, which was pretty quick. So then we had the minecart, which I used to play Xbox One Edition, and minecarts were pretty quick in that. And that took 14 seconds to cover the entire range, so not as quick, but still decent 7 blocks per second. And then we have sprint jumping on ice, which was actually quicker, as it took 11.3 seconds to cover the entire 1 block range with 8.8 blocks per second. Next, I tried boating on water. You'll see something else later. So it wasn't very, it was standard, 14.8 seconds, and with a result of 6.7 blocks per second. And then there's the big one, boating on ice. I've actually slowed it down to 0.5 because it's so fast. And that's 4.8 seconds, so 20.8 blocks per second. And then, of course, soul speed, which is common on the Hermitcraft server, which resulted in 11.3, so to cover the whole thing, so 8.8 blocks per second. And then there's swimming with depth strider, which took 18.8 blocks per second, so much slower than sprint jumping. So I wouldn't recommend choosing this if you're just doing it by yourself, but there is a very good thing which you can use with compound, but I'll show that in a later video. Next we had nether portals in creative, which is astoundingly fast with 5.1 seconds, 19 blocks per second for the whole thing. And then I tried to do it in survival, which actually took 16.8 seconds, sprint jump in between, so only 5.9 blocks per second due to that animation there. So the final thing, which it's quite actually not very used as often as it should be probably, and it was swimming with dolphin's grace, and it resulted in 16.8 seconds due to the dolphin's grace running out halfway through. But if you station dolphins along, it could get a decent time with 6 blocks per second with that running out in survival. So, if you are in survival, if you want a fast way to travel, which one would you choose? None of them. That's the answer, because only these are the basic elements that you can combine together. Well, some of them you can combine together and create a much, much, much faster way of transporting yourself. So these are the basic elements. If you want, you can go away, use these different things, see if you can combine them to create the perfect, fastest way of doing it. But there are a few things I haven't told you. We'll look out for that in the next video, which will be coming out soon on part 2 of How Fast Can You Go in Minecraft. This was Oogly Boogly. I hope you've enjoyed. Hope you've learnt something along the way. Also, videos like this take a lot of work, all the timing and everything, so if you did enjoy, if it did help, please subscribe if you enjoyed. Maybe leave a like on the video if you did, if you liked it. And that's all for me. Read what my jumper says. Anyway, that's all for me, and see ya!